Richard Walker of DraftExpress here with Jonathan Givony, president of DraftExpress. How you doing, John?
Doing great, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Every year it seems like we come to this event like we know all the players. Did anybody this year stand out relative to the expectations you had heading into it?
Yeah, you know, one guy that I hadn't really seen since Portsmouth of 2009 was Marcus Kazan of Austin. I thought he looked pretty intriguing. He's a big guy, 6'11", with a good body. He's got a nice wingspan, and he's got a nice little skill level too. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can pass. He's got a good feel for the game. He rebounds. He's not a bad defender. Looks like a guy that that could get a call up here, and could eventually develop into an NBA rotation guy.
Well, speaking of call-ups, it's actually been less call-ups this year heading into the showcase than there were last year, but certainly post-showcase there will be some call-ups. Who do you see as being the first one or a couple guys to get called up?
Yeah, I think that if you have to look at one guy that is the MVP, so to speak, of the showcase probably would be Jeff Adrian. I think that if you're looking for someone to come in and make an impact right away, give you some inside scoring and just give you some big-time energy, rebounding, running the floor, that kind of thing, I think that Adrian is that guy. We've seen that players in his mold, even though he's a little bit undersized, can be successful in today's NBA. So I think that he's a good guy to start with when you're looking at who would the first player called up.
Right. Well, if there's been a success story in the D League thus far, it's been the NBA allocating more players down to the D League. You see lottery picks like Cole Aldrich and guys like that. How are guys like Dexter, Pittman, Cole Aldrich, Jeremy Lin faring in the D League?
Yeah, I think that they're faring very well. I think that these guys are taking their assignments very seriously. The reputation in the league has improved to the point where it's not really viewed as much of a punishment as it once was. Guys come here with the motivation to be successful, to improve and to impress their teams and to get better. I think that's a great thing. I think that you look at Dexter, Pittman, the matchup he had with Cole Aldrich. That's a matchup that you wouldn't see in the D League in years past, and I think that it was very intriguing. I think that Pittman has clearly lost a lot of weight, and he looks like a guy that really could be a good player in the NBA. Cole Aldrich definitely struggled in that first matchup coming off a hip injury, but yesterday had a much easier time going up against Dakota and had a really nice game, did a lot of good things offensively, was a major presence inside on defense. He rebounded the ball, he ran the court well. I thought that he did a good job. I think that Oklahoma City has a good future in store for him. Last guy that I think is doing a good job here so far is Jeremy Lin from Golden State. I wasn't really sure about him as an NBA player coming into this event, but I think that he's done enough things to show that he might have a spot in this league with his feel for the game, with his passing ability. His shooting seems to be improving. He looks more like a point guard to me now than he did at Harvard.
Right. I think a lot of people thought that the reason he even got an NBA roster is from one standout summer league game against John Wall, but clearly he's showing that's not exactly the case. The biggest story for an outside observer is probably the Antoine Walker story. How do you think he's doing?
Yeah, I think the D League might be selling itself a little bit short by making Antoine Walker, the face of their league. I think that there's much bigger stories here than just him. Antoine is a guy, at 35 years old. I think it's pretty obvious after watching him twice now that he's not the same player he was, 5-10 years ago. Athletically, he just doesn't have, the quickness or the explosiveness to compete with guys at the D League level, let alone the NBA level. So, he's had two gut-wrenching performances, and I think he's a better player than that. But NBA-wise, I think that probably his days in the NBA are over. I think what he needs to do now is, try to get into better shape because he's about 30 pounds overweight right now, and try to become a mid-level player in Europe. $80,000, $100,000 player is probably what his realistic goal would be right now.
And what about some disappointments? Is there anybody or anything that's really let you down about the showcase?
Yeah, you know, I was kind of looking forward to seeing the progress of a couple of guys that unfortunately were injured coming into this event, so we weren't able to watch them. Guys like Aaron Miles and Kyle Weaver have been having really good seasons, really good players, good guys, you know, that deserve to have an opportunity to showcase themselves in front of, you know, the NBA community, but unfortunately weren't able to. So the good thing about, you know, about the D-League is that, you know, you can always come watch a game in a different city. There's every single game is on a Synergy, games on a Futurecast, so these guys will bounce back, but it would have been nice to see those guys.
Well, certainly there's new prospects coming to the league all the time, and it's only getting more interesting. So we'll check back in with you next showcase.
Hopefully.
All right, thanks a lot, John, for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.